I'm Colton Gish. I've been showing for 8 years.
My name is Aubrey Leo. I've been showing since fourth grade. I think that's 8 years. So before you bring your piglet home or your pig, make sure you have the right setup. The biggest concern is having a clean and dry environment for your animal. So you need to regularly clean your space, whether that's once a week or whenever you see it get wet, dirty, all that type of stuff. It's really important that you keep your animal clean. And then a dry environment is very important. Your pig should stay out of the weather, especially because we live in Oregon, so it rains almost every day. In extreme temperatures as well. So once we get into the summer or the spring when it starts getting hotter, having shade or rinsing your pig occasionally is a good thing too. For your younger pigs, especially in Oregon weather where it gets cold, it's important to have a heat source, whether that's a heat lamp. I believe the Prima ones are the best, like fireproof, safe for your animals. Or you can use straw bedding. Deep straw is really good for a piglet to hunker into. We do warn that if you have a heat lamp and straw at the same time, straw is very flammable. So we would encourage you to either have a heat lamp and shavings or straw, but not both.
The next topic we're going to talk about is the pigs, like bedding, feeders, waters, heat lamp, and just them being comfortable. So for feeders, we have a couple suggestions. You can buy these Fortiflex feeders at any Wilco, Tractor Supply, anything like that. Or you can buy the feed pans. The feed pans are great until your pig just flips it over and all their feed is gone. That's one thing we've learned from experience. The snap-on feeders are great, easy to clip onto for some hog panels. These are a little bit different. So they're a great tool, and we highly suggest them. For waters, there's a couple different options. Here in our barn, we use pressurized systems that just have water all the time, but at County Fair, we do not have that. So you've got to bring your own watering system. So what a lot of people, or I think at least almost everybody uses, is just PVC pipes with a nipple at the bottom and a cap. It's just a hose clamp, and you just tie it onto the fence, and it just sits there and hangs like this. Great and easy.
Yeah. Like we said before, this is the shaving kind of heat lamp combo we were talking about. Just keeps the pigs nice and warm. They grow better when they're comfortable, and I don't know about you, but I'm comfortable when I'm warm. These pins, to raise one of your show pigs, because remember, they're going to get up like 200, 250, 300 pounds. You're going to want a bigger space for them. So these guys are in like an 8x8 currently. And if you're buying two pigs, starting them out together in one of these pins is perfectly okay. But once they get up to like 100, 125 pounds, they're going to start outgrowing it together. So I would separate those pigs. And a benefit to that, too, is that you're able to feed your pigs separate if they need separate things in order for them to grow better. And the best thing about these feeders is with the clips, you can clip them higher up onto the bars. Pigs are natural foragers, so they're naturally going to look for food on the ground. So if you place their feeder up higher, it's going to train them to keep their head up more often and just give you a better time at training once it comes to that.
And adding on to that, I would say keeping your pigs closer is a better idea. I mean, you were bringing up comfortability. Pigs like to be closer together. That way they have competition in eating. We've had cases where we've had a pig in a certain area and they will refuse to eat and starve themselves until they have a friend or somebody. So I would highly recommend not just having one pig at home. Definitely at least have two. That way they have a buddy and they have some competition for food, seeing who's hungrier, who's going to eat more, and they grow better, and they're just more comfortable in their habitat. Talking more about the bedding and the area your pig is going to stay in, we have an example here that of a we call them huts that we use. This one's not in the greatest condition. It needs some more love, that's for sure. It's an old apple crate that we got from an orchard. We have a bunch of them, and that's what we use in our barn. And it's got holes and stuff, and what we ended up using is just some metal siding on the bottom side. And me and my dad fabbed them all up to where we just used chicken wire right here, and then some metal siding all cut, and we just stick a heat lamp here, plug it into the wall, and it's got an opening on this side that the show pigs can walk in. And we have some little 2x2s that we use, and we have a door that we use for it too. So when we're cleaning pens, you can close them in there, and you can clean the pen a lot easier, and it keeps them nice and warm. The pigs have got a less likely chance of getting a pneumonia or dippity, and you don't have to give them as much medication and have to watch their health as much of having that fear they're going to get sick and they're going to have a runny nose and they're going to decline in their feed and they're going to lose weight trying to stay warm. They can stay warmer in this and gain more weight and be more comfortable and just have a greater time and all. The next subject we're going to be talking about is show pig selection. So we have 3 pigs here. We have one that's more mature, this blue and white one that's walking away right now. He's a more mature boar, meaning a intact male. Both of these are, and the other one's a gilt, a female, a younger one. And we're going to be talking about the selection of them and what to look for when choosing your projects. So right now, the one that's currently chewing on my shoe, he's less mature and will grow into himself, but some things that stood out to us were his top line on top of the very top of his body is a little bit higher up, and he could be prone to injuries. Their feet and leg size you want to look at. You don't want one that's got really small legs. You want one that's got bigger sized legs and muscle and tone that he will grow into with the correct feed and supplements if that's what you wish to feed. This one right here, this white one that's in front, is a gilt that we chose because she's got higher muscle, greater fat. She's very high quality, very proportional in her body. We like the way that her body suits her and that she'll grow into herself. She's not like really big butted and then tiny, small little shoulders. So you want to look at proportion.
Bone structure is probably your biggest area of concern. When they're small, you can always raise them up and feed them to fix whatever they're missing. But right off the bat, you want a good structure or else they won't be able to move once they get heavier and have more muscle capacity. So if you look at the gilt versus the little black boar, the gilt's square off her hocks. She's got a nice deep top line. She moves very comfortable throughout her spine, whereas that little black barrow, and he's faced some injury too, but he's got a little bit of a blown hock right now. Maybe doesn't move as comfortable as the white one. He's a little tighter in his spine, but overall things you can fix. But when you're choosing a pig, might as well choose the easier one, right?
Going off skeleton, I think squareness is a very key part. You don't want one that's super narrow and its legs are touching in the back. You want one that's got some width, some meat on it, if you will, that'll continue to grow into itself and that'll treat you differently in the ring and definitely make you stand out. I think it's key that your pigs are born in between 8 and 12 weeks. These are about 6 weeks old right now, so they're not quite ready to go home. We want them born about December or so is very good for Marion County Fair. The November borns, you're going to have to hold them back, meaning you feed them less and you give them more or less opportunities to grow, meaning you feed them less. And even if that means give them a little bit more water in their feed just to get them a little bit more fuller, but not necessarily grow. I would stay away from the later January. The early Januaries may be okay. Pushing them is another term that we commonly use. That's when you really give them the feed bucket. You give them as much as they can eat all the time, and you're trying to get them to constantly grow. If that's what you prefer, it's great. But I would highly recommend looking at a December born. Typically, we go for beginning to middle of December, and that's right about the 250, 260 mark for show pigs.
Mm-hmm. Those December borns are going to be your easy feeders, especially for our fair. Just low stress. Unless something tragic happens, your pig is most likely 100% going to make weight at the fair, and that's all we can hope for at the least. I've had pigs that we've had to push that have made it, but it definitely doesn't feel good on the heart to be stressing about it, and it does take a toll on your animal too. They feed off your stress. They stress too. When it gets hot outside, it's harder to feed your animal more and more. They aren't willing to take it. So that ultimate sweet spot is going to be right in December.
After bringing your projects home, it's very key to stay in touch with your breeder and your vet. You want to slowly transition them over from their feeds. So if you're going to keep feeding what the breeder has, you can stay on their feed if you know what it is, if you ask, or you can slowly transition them from a 50-50 mix, what you want to feed and what the breeder has been feeding, slowly transition them so it doesn't hurt their guts as much. And then keeping in contact with your veterinarian is a very good idea, or even the breeder for shots. There's a lot of shots to give to them when they're younger before they go to the sale or before you go to the barn, and you want to keep up on those shots. It definitely helps. We've had many cases where you got to give antibiotics after you get them just to keep them going, and you don't know what it is, so you got to reach back out to the vet or the breeder, and they will talk about it and help you out.
Yeah, like you said, keeping a good relationship with your breeder and your vet is very important. Always just communicating, like, what vaccinations have you given this pig before you bring it home, and then maybe communicating with your vet after and seeing if they have any recommendations just to keep them clean and healthy throughout the season. Having a good relationship with your breeder and your vet also just helps in the long run if something were to come up.
Talking about feeds and the topic of what to do when you first get your pig home, what are you going to feed it? Do you have a plan for what you're going to do? Are you going to go to Wilco and just ask, hey, can I get pig food? You got to have a game plan. Are you wanting to feed pellets? Are you wanting to feed the mash? What protein? Are you wanting to feed a 14% crude protein, which will keep them more fat and just make them bigger, and they may not weigh as much, but they're going to be bigger bodied? Or you can go to 16% feed, which is what we feed most of the time. And with that one, what we do is we feed pellets, and you add water to it to hydrate them, and we sometimes will feed pellets, and that'll keep them really hydrated and drop the belly. Or you can feed a mash feed, like an 18%, and the mash 18% and a whole bunch of water, and that'll hold the pig and they won't gain as much weight, and it'll pull their belly up, and they'll stay the same weight for a longer period of time if you have to, like right before weigh-in or something. So picking a feed and sticking with it, or even switching up at a certain point, like, hey, my pig's kind of fat from this 16%. I want to switch it up and get him a little bit more muscular and take him to 18%. So you slowly transition them over. It's easier to transition from a mash feed to a mash feed and keeping it like a ground, kind of like a powder, rather than going from a powder to a pellet. Some pigs will pick what they like, and they will not eat pellet. They love the mash feed, and they won't switch it over. And it's just important to find what protein you want to feed, which one you're going to stick to or switch to after they get to 150 pounds, what the pig needs. You can reach out to, I would say me, I think they could reach out to you as well and ask. You can reach out to a lot of people here in the county and they'll help you out. Hey, he needs more muscle. Hey, this one needs some more fat. You can reach out and ask. And hydration is key.
Yeah. Right off the bat, when you bring your animal home, if you're going to the feed store and you're looking at these feed bag tags, disregarding brand and everything, there's going to be 3 typical tags that you see. You're probably going to see like a pig starter, a pig grower, and then a pig finisher. That pig starter is going to be higher in protein. That's what builds your muscle. The key is that the higher the protein, the more muscle that your animal is going to gain. Same as the less protein, the more fat that is targeted to be put on your animal. So typically as you move up from pig starter to grower to finisher, that protein goes down so that you can overall balance out your animal. And balance is the key. You want equal parts fat, equal parts muscle, just an overall functional pig. And we talk about hydration a lot. Like as humans, we need hydration. I mean, water is like the key factor for your animal, for yourself, just to keep you going, especially when it gets hot. If your animal isn't eating, wetting their feed is a great addition. Make sure that it is cool water, though. We don't want to feed our animal warm water. That's not very cooling, hydrating. Make sure it's cool water when you mix in. And the amount of water really depends on what your goal is, what your pig likes. There's a lot of different factors, but there's no set right answer and there's no set wrong answer. So if your pig likes it soupy, perfect, give them soup. That's extra water, hydration that they're going to have in their stomach. If they don't like it that wet, but they're still taking it with water, that's still a win. So just remember the baby steps. There's a lot of give and take when it comes to you and your animal and their feed. And like Colton said, just reaching out to people around you. You can send videos, you can send pictures of your animal, and anyone can let you know if you need higher protein, lower protein. And the brand of feed doesn't necessarily matter as much if you're just looking for the basics. First training your pig, there's a lot of different techniques that you can have. I mean, for me personally, I typically let them settle for a day before I push them out of the pen and start trying to whip train them at least. And it's not going to be pretty at all. But I mean, I'm a firm believer that the sooner I get them out, the sooner that we can get going. There's a right and a wrong way to use a whip. Talking about grip, I've seen like just the normal, and then I've also seen pencil. This has a lot less control, whereas this you can accurately tap wherever you want without the risk of hitting another kid or another pig in the ring. But to start your pig out walking, you're going to want to take the end of the whip and you want to tap them right on this side area. So between their front leg and their back leg, preferably it's like the side of their belly. To change direction, you're going to hit them on the side of the face.
Below the ears.
Yeah, below the ears. And I say hit, but I really mean tap. So right up in here, right on that jaw movement, and then obviously the other side for whichever direction. When we're showing too, this gilt does it nicely. She naturally carries her head up, but you want that pig's head to raise as well. So we like to use 2 whips at the very beginning just to train their head. So you'll take both whips and you'll place them both on each side of the head and slightly tap underneath their chin until they pick it up. They're going to fight you. It's going to be frustrating. But remember, you guys are a team. You guys play off of each other's stress, so just try to have fun. It's their first time living too, so they don't know what you're trying to ask them to do. But when we're first trying to train them, it's obviously not going to be pretty. You might have a lot of hands-on experience with my pig, or at least that's kind of how I like to do it. If I'm not using 2 whips, then I typically try to direct the pig at the same time, and if they aren't going that way that I want, I will take my hands and I'll physically move them the direction that I want so that they learn what I'm trying to teach them, essentially. The tap of your whip, you should never be able to hear it on your pig, but it should be firm enough that you're making contact, that they know what you're trying to do. But you never want to hear like your whip cracking on a pig. So if I try with this little gilt, and these are very young, so I don't know how cooperative they're going to be, but I'll tap the side to get them going. Maybe. And then as we're walking, the biggest thing is that they're constantly moving. So I'll tap and then move them forward at the same time so that they know what I'm trying to get them to do. And eventually they'll catch on. Same with like the sides of the head and all that good stuff.
Yeah, adding on to that, I think it's very key that you, as many judges refer to it, you and your dance partner are very focused and you work together. I mean, like you stated many times, it's not going to be very pretty your first month. It takes time, and then once you catch on, I would say working up to being able to walk your pig as a goal, set it. I mean, I do it by listening to music. You have a song for each pig, and you play that song on your playlist until it's over, and then afterwards you have another song where you just sit there and pet and bond with it. It's definitely a good idea to reward the pig after you're done working. So after you're done walking it, what we like to do is sit in the pen with marshmallows, or even when you first get them home, and you just give them a treat. You give them a little bit here. You can start adding it in their feed where they like it. You just give them a little bit here and there, and it gets them excited. It gives them a reward. If they like to go to work, they like to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. I'd like to mention that, especially at the very beginning, it doesn't have to be like a long workout, you could call it. Little wins are big wins. So if your only goal is to direct your pig outside of your pen, outside of the barn, and then they do that, perfect. Take them back, reward them, love on them, like he said, and then slowly work your way up through that process as well. It's very easy to feel behind, like, oh, my pig isn't walking, it's not walking with its head up, like, oh, it runs occasionally, but as long as you set a goal for yourself every day that you work with them, and you meet that goal, then you're right on schedule.
So talking about the showing side of things, we like to walk our animals as soon as they're home and they're comfortable and ready to go. Talking about the key points of walking them, we like to turn ours right below the ears, hitting them like this. I mean, you can see she's already knowing where to go, and I'm not even having to touch her. You just wave it there. And then this is what I refer to as the gas pedal, right here in between their tummy and butt, this area right here. They love to be pet there as well. That's what we refer to as the gas pedal, and the head's where you turn. So just from doing that, you can hit them, and then hitting them underneath their jaw will get their head up, as well as keep them walking and looking fresher. And the judges like that more as you keep them going, not stop and go. They like them to be moving and fluctuate better and just keep moving and go smooth. So you can see walking her, she's kind of turning a little difficult, but she does get out and go every little bit. And turning, you want to keep nice wide turns, not short ones like I'm doing. Everyday practice is always good. You can never overwork a pig. I mean, you want to keep them moving. You want to show all views to the judge. You want to show this side, the butt, the head, the chest. Everything is key. And, I mean, you can never go wrong with going over the top for a judge. They always like that little bit extra of, hey, I put in the time of work at home. Hey, I'm trying my best here. And you can never go wrong. Another show factor that a lot of kids will use is with their offhand. You got a whip in one hand and you're not sure what to quite do with the other. So a lot of kids will hold a brush in their hand and they'll walk their pig while hitting it in the tummy as to keep it walking faster. and then you can use your whip ever so slightly to keep them walking. They will get attitude as she is right now after being fed up and eating, but that's just because pigs are always loud and a little bit obnoxious. It's that gas pedal I keep referring to. If you hit that, it really makes them go. You can use a brush, or even if you don't have one, you can tap them a little bit with your hand, and that'll make a big difference.
Yeah, I'd like to mention about what he said about never overworking them. Consistency really is key. You should be out there, if not every day, like almost every single day, walking your pig. And I mean, as you can see, she's not perfect either. So it really does take time. And that consistency is what's going to get you to that calm, slow pace walking show pig, which is what you want in the ring. So just making sure you're out there every day, being consistent, working with your animal, bonding with your animal too. It's going to be a lot easier if you actually like your pig and if your pig actually likes you. But staying consistent, not getting frustrated. Everyone has their off days. Your animals do too. But just working with them, and they'll work with you as well.
Another factor when walking your pig is they're going to have their off day. As you can see, she is having it here. I mean, she's cranky. She's fed up. She wants to go to bed. We all have those days where you just don't want to go to school. You don't want to do anything. You just want to relax. While you're working the animal and they have that day or those days, I would say it's key to try at least. I mean, she's screaming, but she's still walking. She's still going. I've had pigs like that. I think, Aubrey, you've had pigs like that, where they just scream and scream, and they're very talkative. But you don't give up. And if they're fighting you and they want to get back to the pen and they're banging on it, just let them go back for the day. Go in, pet them, tell them or treat them like they're doing good, and just call it a day. It's okay to have one of those days where it's a break day. It's vacation for you and the pig.
The most important thing is coming back the day after, though, and still getting up, still getting after it, working with your animal and working through those hard days. Because not every day is going to be a hard day, but it's important to recognize when it is.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
When it comes to washing your animal, and it depends on your setup, how often you want to wash and when you want to start washing them. If you have an enclosed barn and you have the means to keep them warm while you're washing them, go ahead and you can start washing in the early months of spring. I mean, a little bit into the winter if you feel really inclined to. But as it gets warmer, it's going to be important to start keeping their skin and hair super nice and conditioned. I mean, just like yourself, showering is always nice. But you really don't have to go fancy when you're washing your pig. So like we have some basic just shampoo options. There's the not the head and shoulders, the mane and tail. You can find this at Wilco. You can find this at Target. You can find it at Walmart. Like
Tractor Supply.
Anywhere. And then this is just Johnson's like little baby soap, and it comes in bigger bottles. But really, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting your pig clean. Dollar Tree has soaps that are completely animal safe. The one thing I would maybe be a little bit cautious on, dish soap is not the best. Dawn is super good at getting things clean, but because of the chemical makeup in it, it will dry your pig's skin and hair out. So unless they have like mites and you're just trying to get them really good and clean and rid of that, I would stay away from dish soap and look for an actual bottle that says shampoo.
Yeah, horse products are great. I mean, they completely transfer over. I mean, when we first started out, we would use a lot of horse stuff. I mean, the brush, I think we were using on my mom's horse at one point. We use all sorts of shampoos from the Dollar Tree, Target, whatever. And we slowly transitioned over to the products we currently use. And I mean, you'll find what you like, but we're just giving you a base idea of what to pick. And I mean, we're just throwing some ideas out and trying to give you a base understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Over with conditioners, we brought out some that you can find at All Wilco's, Tractor Supplies. Not trying to sponsor them, but just bringing out some ideas. I currently use Revive. It's a great conditioner to use after washing. It'll keep your pig's skin growing or hair growing, skin clean. It'll keep them nice and like comfortable. It'll just make them happier. And then as you're moving on into the summer and you're trying to work your pig outside to kind of build up a tolerance and get them more acclimated to walking and getting ready for county fair, we started using some just any like children's sunscreen on the white parts to keep them from getting sunburnt. And it really helps and protects them. And then we use some fly spray when it starts to get into June and July and it starts getting hotter and the flies like their feed. The flies like to lay in the manure and they start making eggs. It's really, really important to start spraying the pigs down and keeping them like less bites, because a judge will notice all the bites on your pig's back. In our county, if you have bites on the pig's back and you have just some sick skin and everything, we do have health check-ins while entering, and it's a very good idea to keep them more higher maintenance and keeping them cleaner and keeping them out of the mud as much as possible and just building their skin and hair tolerance up and keeping them cleaner.
Yeah, when we roll into summer too and it starts getting hot, it's important to keep your animal cool. I mean, the most common fact about a pig is they don't have sweat glands. And so that whole mud pit comes into play, but statistically, pigs are one of the cleanest farm animals if you give them a clean space to stay. And so to cool them off, I like to rinse them every day, morning and night, in the heat of day, whenever. However, when you are rinsing, and this goes for washing too, you always want to start spraying the water, especially if it's cold water, at the feet, going up their legs, and then throughout their body. If you start on their back or on their neck, just like their like core body, it can actually send them into shock. That cold water in such a hot day, it can freak them out. It can lead to a heart attack, which is obviously not good. So just making sure you're taking the little steps to make sure that you're doing things properly and keeping you and your animals safe so that by the time fair rolls around, you guys will all be good. And the products that we have on the table today, raising an animal and showing, yes, it can get expensive. So I love to save a quick buck. So where I can keep money, I would like to. All of these products are below $20, if not $15 and $10. There's a lot of ways to stay budget friendly throughout showing your animal and just making sure that you're enjoying it as well.
Yeah, and if they end up getting like sores, if you keep them on concrete or mud, they can get sores on their legs, and it's important to find we use Corona cream. If they get a sore on their leg, we'll put that on it and we'll reach out to the vet, send a picture. Hey, can this get infected? Is this going to cause problems when fair comes around? And when it comes to walking, what can I do to fix it? Making sure their bodies are injury free and going out and checking on them every day, not just throwing a bag of feed in and then, hey, we'll see you in 3 days. Hopefully you're good. That's not a very good idea. They're high maintenance animals, and it's always a good idea to check on them more to make sure they don't have injuries. They're hopefully mite free. They're ready to go when show comes around, and wormer is a big factor as well. Giving them ivermectin and all sorts of other products that'll keep them worm free is a great idea.
Yeah, speaking of ivermectin and wormers like that, be aware of withdrawal dates as we move into fair. Most wormers are 30 days. It's good to worm your animal every 30 days, so about like once a month, just to make sure that they're still gaining when they're eating and that those worms aren't taking up all those nutrients. But as we roll into fair, really make sure that you're watching the withdrawal date, especially as we go through health inspections. The vets will look at that, and if your animal isn't clear, then unfortunately you can't go through the auction, which would be a really big bummer after you've put in all the work that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would absolutely suck for you to put up all this work and then the last week, I mean, you got busy and you forgot about it, and they come up with worms, and then you get turned around and sent home and you don't get an auction. So it's important to keep up that pace of, hey, I want to get to fair. I want to do better. I want to do good at fair. It's important to keep that pace going and not just, I'm going to start out good and we're just going to end wherever.
Just some final tips and tricks that I wish I knew as a beginner. Being in it so long, I came from a sheep family. I had zero experience with pigs, but God, I hated sheep. So here I am. Knowledge is power. Don't be afraid to reach out to anyone around you that knows what they're doing, or just semi knows what they're doing. I mean, if you've been in it for a couple of years, you know some basics. So just reach out and have fun with it. I mean, yeah, there's a concept of like winning and doing good and, oh my goodness, this is so stressful. But really the best memories that you're going to make is making friends at fair, getting to know your animal, getting to love your animal, and just building that connection with them for the little time that you get with them. But really make it a memorable moment for you and your animal.
Great speech there. I want to kind of wander off of that. All right. What I want to bring up now is walking the pig. Walking the pig, I would like to talk about walking in a different area from its pen. So don't just walk it in the same area every day. It's good to switch it up so it won't become what we refer to as ring sour or pen sour. It's wanting to go to a different area. So if you're walking it in your backyard, you want to switch it up, you want to go out on the road, you can walk it wherever. Switch it up, go somewhere new. Take it to a place it's never been. I've heard of stories of people walking it to their ponds. Give it somewhere to go. Walk it somewhere new. Take it to a new area and travel around. Yeah, it's never a bad idea to go to somewhere new and just keep on trying until you get there. Well, what we'd like to bring up next is walking them into the trailer. Before fair, please work on getting your pig up into the trailer and keeping it up there and keeping it nice and calm so it's not scared on the trailer ride and starts having diarrhea like crazy. You want it to stay calm. You want to walk it into the trailer and get it out safely so it doesn't hurt itself. You want to have a ramp. That's what we use for our trailer. I think my mom's actually going to bring one over, so just stay tuned for this one. Come on, Muscles.
Killing it.
Thank you, Mike. So coming next onto this ramp here, we used to have a trailer that didn't have a ramp on it at all. It was your typical 2-horse slant trailer, and we switched it up, and now we've got a nice X's trailer that we have a full ramp for. And, I mean, while we had that trailer, what we would like to do is my dad actually built this, and I mean, it's just plywood, and then obviously you got some roof and shingles, some nice traction, some bumps to walk over, keep it so it's not sliding down. You don't want your pig to like fall and injure its leg real quick and have a nice fall. You want it to catch itself and go up nice and comfortably so it's not scared to go into the trailer. Yeah.
Pigs are not like sheep, goats, or cows. You know, they're not inclined to do what you want them to do without some bribery, including jumping up onto high platforms. So if you're able to get a ramp, not only does it keep you safe and your animal safe, but it keeps them happy, and that's all we can ask for.
Yeah. Thank you for watching, and have fun with the next video. Great speech there. I want to kind of wander off of that. All right. What I want to bring up now is walking. Trailering your animal.